when we talk about this issue of, talking in favor of Palestinians or in any kind of, criticism of the state of Israel, the attempt has been not only in the media and the public, but also the academic discussion. In the academia, there is an attempt to stifle that and stop it. And this is an ongoing issue even before this crisis has happened. Just early this year, for example, one of the leading colleges in New York by the name of Bard College was approached by an Israeli diplomat to cancel a course which the college was running under the title of Apartheid in Israel-Palestine, which was about, the growing debate on whether the Israeli state practices a form of apartheid in Palestine. And this was a course actually not designed by a Palestinian, an Arab, or a Muslim. This was actually designed, written, and taught by Nathan Thrall, a Jewish American, a writer and a researcher who lives in Jerusalem. So it couldn't be that, it's the Muslims who have done this, or Palestinians have done this, and an Arab has written it. And the fortunate thing is that the president of the Bard College, Leon Bostein, stood his ground, and he said, we stood up for academic freedom when he was, responding to the Israeli diplomat. The course was excellent, high level, and not at all ideological preaching. According to the author of the course, and it's important to realize, the background of this person, the basis of the course was growing evidence that Israel is in breach of international laws against apartheid, including reports by Israel's leading human rights groups, B'Tselem, and from a prominent legal organization, Yesh Din, which concluded that the crime against humanity of apartheid is being committed in the West Bank. The president of the college, Bostein, responded to a letter by one of the Jewish federations, where he says that as a child of survivors of Holocaust, I am more sensitive than most to anti-Semitism. So he himself comes from that Jewish background. And he says there is nothing anti-Semitic about the course in question. It explores questions that have been subject of debate in Israel for years. Why should the Jewish community in America be afraid of the same debates and arguments taking place in Israel? And this is where, it's nothing new, questioning Israel in North America. If you can remember the former president, Jimmy Carter, in 2006, he published his book. The title was Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. This basically sparked controversy, but they were not able to suppress or ban that book. And he was especially, criticized for using the term apartheid. Carter defended that by saying that, I'm not talking about proper Israel. I'm talking about the attitude of Israel, the policy of Israel in West Bank. And that's why I'm using this term. He says, and this is the statement he gave when he was attacked about this book. He says, when Israel does occupy this territory deep within the West Bank and connects the 200 or so settlements, the number now, according to UN, is 279 settlements, with each other, with a road, and prohibits the Palestinian from using that road, and in many cases even crossing the road, this perpetuates even worse instances of apartness or apartheid than we witnessed even in South Africa. This is a former president of the United States of America who actually brought about this peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. So don't label him as anti-Semitic. You know, he's looking at the reality from his own angle. And this is where we have to realize, you know, people can always put a cover on zulm, but zulm and injustice will always be exposed. You know, a zalim might be able to, you know, sustain his zulm for a time. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلِبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ. In Surah Shu'ara, at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says a time will come when things will change and the zalimeen will know their own place. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the appearance of the Imam of the time, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif, inshallah. So we also here in Canada, in our own locality, we might get, you know, objections. Why do you speak in khutbah on these issues? You know, we are within the law. We are looking at the facts. Don't be afraid just because one or two individuals might object to it. You know, you don't, you know, go into the hiding. The world is there. If you look at the capitals of the Western world and the streets of the Western world and the academia, these issues are being discussed and discussed very openly. Interestingly, we see, for example, in the United States of America, the Jewish community who are coming out in large numbers in this protest saying, not in our name. And most of these protests we see, whether it's in Canada or US, are not organized by Muslims. These are the voices of the people on the street. The legislation building is different, the parliament is different, the government's offices are different, but the people in the street are the one who are echoing the same words that we see all around the world about highlighting the plight of the people of Palestine. إن أحسن الحديث كتاب الله العزيز بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.